Hey guys, welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. It is Thursday and it's 6:34, and that means we're going to laugh and learn and get some stuff out there that some people don't even want to talk about. Lenny's over here writing. He's taken up the whole board. He was so sad when we didn't get to do Aliens a couple weeks ago, so we held it until he got back from his vacay. Lenny, do you have any idea where your microphone is right now?
It's over my right shoulder.
Yeah, that means no one can hear you, Lenny.
Oh,
Producer.
Some people will be pleased with that.
Producer, what do they say? Don't work with animals or children.
Yes.
I'm not sure which one Lenny is.
I can be very childlike.
Yeah. So, all right, we got a great show for you guys, and we have so much fun. We got Blake in the studio. We have a new sponsor that's I'm real excited about them joining the team. And are you ready to get started? You done writing?
I'm good. Well, I'm always ready. I was born ready, as they say.
If you guys could see the table, I have this much section right here.
I stayed within my boundary.
Yeah. Well, no.
No, you didn't.
Oh, well,
right here.
Right here. Well, you threw a curveball and asked me for movies.
That's how mom comes to the back seat right there, Lenny. You got on my side. So, all right, Lenny, we'll give you a little toast here. I mean, and welcome to the show, Lenny.
It's been too long. I missed it. Hiya, Blake. Thank you. Well, that's because I take myself. That's why I'm not here.
Well, cheers to Blake in the studio. And
yeah.
I know you got
to your health.
Oh, dang, that's too loud. Oh, sorry.
Salute. No, we're good with it.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't want to be like at least louder so you can hear me, but not loud enough to hear the computer fan in the background going off.
Yeah. So, we're drinking tonight. We're drinking Maker's Mark 46. It's smooth.
Yes, it is.
Smooth bourbon. All right, we're talking about smooth bourbons. We're going to jump straight into our sponsors.
Please.
St. Augustine Distillery and City Gate Spirits. Have you done the tasting tour at City Gates?
I have. Since we last seen each other, I did. I went in. It was fabulous. They were delightful. Very lovely people there.
Yeah.
You taste about nine different products. And they're all different flavored whiskeys, interesting stuff. Smoked bacon,
yeah.
the moonshine Sirius.
Yeah.
The moonshine Sirius, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys get a chance, go down there. They're on Sponsor Row, right there. They're next to the bed and breakfast in that area, that new facility directly across from the fort, in that little plaza. Right there on Avenida Menendez, easy to find. City Gate Spirits, give them a chance and do that tasting. Meehan's Irish Pub. You and I both love this place. Reggie's just an amazing dude. They have great food. They have 3 bars in one. They have bartenders that are just happy to be there and make you feel good about being there. And that's what a bar should be.
And the food's good. Music. Outside, inside.
Excellent. All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. I can't say enough about, have you made it? Oh,
we did. We took my nephew there for his birthday. It was fabulous. Yeah, it really was.
Did you get to do a tour? Or
no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So, but I mean,
I think
so
Captain
much
Meehan might have been sick again. But yeah,
there's so much to read in there, and so many cool things and artifacts in there. They have over 800 artifacts.
It was fascinating. Some of the daggers, some of the swords, some of the provenance of this stuff is real. I mean, that's the impressive stuff. This is, it's not made up.
Yeah.
I mean, and even the made up stuff was real. They had the real hook from the original Peter Pan movie.
Oh, okay. I don't think they had that last time I was there.
Yep.
See, and that's what they do. They keep reinventing themselves and just getting better and better. So really appreciate Cindy and that whole crew being our partner. All right, River and Fort. Staying along Sponsor Row, right there, River and Fort. It's I want to say it's a new restaurant, but it's fairly new. But it's not that new. It's been around for a little bit, but they have the best view.
Beautiful build out
of the fort and the inlet right there on the rooftop. Great selection of bourbons and drinks and wonderful food.
And my wife keeps looking at it going, well, it looks meat-centric. And I had to show her yesterday that it's not, because they had a veritable vegan dish, and it was, it didn't need to be vegan. It was just all vegetable. But it was roasted cauliflower, beans. It was a beautiful plate. You know, my niece, who's a vegetarian, would eat it. My wife's eyes lit up. So there's a little something for everybody there, and a really, really nice wine list. If you're into wines, they have a very nice wine list.
They really have a great menu and a great, like you said, wine list and bourbon list. All right, this next, our newest sponsor, and I'm real excited to have them on the team here, and it's one of my favorite places for breakfast and lunch, the Roosevelt Room. I don't know. Have you eaten at the Roosevelt Room?
You see, I'm laughing because you said breakfast, and breakfast happens way too early in my life.
Yeah,
you know, I don't do mornings.
But do you like breakfast?
I do.
Meals as a lunch?
I do, absolutely. Okay. Breakfast for dinner.
I can tell you.
Unfortunately, they're not open.
I can tell you right now, the breakfast there is amazing. It's incredible, and that's the Roosevelt Room. It's located right beside Prohibition Kitchen. They're a part of that
George Street.
That whole family with the dessert bar, Chianti. Room and Prohibition Kitchen, all of them are all together. But Roosevelt Room, a lot of people don't understand that it is set up for events.
Right, private parties.
They can have private parties up to 70 people if you want to throw a party there. They have catering, so they can cater it so you can actually have liquor in there.
Okay.
During the day, they have beer and wine. But if you do a special event, they have the ability to entertain a full party. Like if you want to do a wedding reception or something like that in there, business get-together or any type of gathering, they're there for you. And it's a great room. They did an amazing job with the renovation in there.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, Abare, Kresge and Associates. These guys, I can't tell you how grateful I am for them to be in my life because they keep me out of trouble. They are the best accountants in town. Just truly appreciate everything they've done for me over the years. All right.
Wait, hold on.
We got so much information. Just if we read your...
Hold on. Did you plug the best real estate agent in town?
Oh, how do I always forget that?
Wow.
Coquina Coast Realty.
Good job, Blake.
Coquina Coast Realty. And I can tell you right now, a lot of people are complaining about not having places to rent and stuff like that. This next couple weeks, I have some places that are opening up.
Okay.
I have some office space, and I have some residential places downtown.
Okay.
You know how hard it is to find housing downtown?
And if it comes with parking, it's a bonus.
It comes with parking. So you guys give me a call. My number is 904-669-7901. 904-669-7901. Anytime you give a number out, you got to give it twice.
Right.
All right. We usually at this point do word origins. All right. I did one last night as a trivia question. I said, you know what? We haven't done it on the show. We need to do and find out what the origin came from.
Good, because we answered the question, but we didn't get the origin.
I didn't know it last night, so that's why I had to go and look it up. And it was the question was something about burning a hole in your pocket or burning a hole.
Right.
So burning a hole in your pocket. We wanted to find out where it came from, and it actually came from burning in my pocket. All right. And it came from a small story in 1740, the first time it was used. And it was used the exact same term or the meaning that it has today is like, I really want to spend some money. And I thought it had something to do with coins like friction or something like that, or them getting hot or, something like that, and it's burning a hole in your pocket. But there really wasn't any origin to that. It came from this one story where it said burning in my pocket, and then it became burning a hole in my pocket as the only change that it came from that today. But it was a story in 1740, a written story in London, and that is exactly where it came from. The meaning means the exact same today.
I've burned through some holes in my pocket with money falling out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can definitely spend some money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I've got two as well. And my first one is, Hail Mary. Mm-hmm. And we're talking not necessarily Hail Mary full of grace, but that's where it comes from. And we're talking about, when somebody throws a Hail Mary or gives a Hail Mary, it's a desperate effort with a slight chance of success. Mm-hmm. But if you,
a wing and a prayer.
But there you go. Save that for next week. Yeah. But if you complete it, you're golden. And the Hail Mary as a football play, which is, where it's most common thing. Now you'll see end of the game, they'll throw everybody into the end, send everybody in the end zone, and they'll just heave the ball out there. And sometimes they play volleyball with it. Every now and again, they make an amazing catch. For a couple of years, tight end on Green Bay caught a couple of them when he never should have and was fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
But
Blake, if you mentioned Boston College, you're out of the will. Just letting you know.
oh, good thing I wasn't in the will, Blake. We're going there, Blake. Don't you worry.
Ugh.
So in 1922, Notre Dame's playing football, and they're losing. And the team gets together, they huddle up, and they say a Hail Mary. And they come out, and they score 2 touchdowns, and they win the game.
Okay.
And they said, that Hail Mary is the best play we've got. And that's where that came from. But the Hail Mary you're referring to, which doesn't make anybody in Florida happy, is the Hail Mary of Doug Flutie, about my size. All right, maybe he's a little bit taller. To Gerald Phelan, and it's 1984. It's Boston College playing the Miami Hurricanes in Miami, and it's a close game. In that game, Bernie Kosar, playing for Miami, threw for 447 yards and 2 touchdowns. Well, Flutie threw for 472 yards, and with the final play, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
great game. The Miracle in Miami. It was 48 yards, and he just reeled back and threw that out there. They won the game. The place went nuts, and that's where Hail Mary really became, in the lexicon. And it's anything after that was where it's going on from there, and that made Doug Flutie, a national. Put him on a Wheaties box.
He won the Heisman because of that play. Pretty much.
Yeah, that put him over 10,000 yards for the season.
Yeah.
I mean for the year.
And he's a great dude.
Yes.
I played Little League baseball with his brother-in-law. So when I did my walk to D.C., we were trying to get Dougie, his son, to join us on the trail at some point, but we could never really get the coordination together. So Scott Morgan, who I played on this baseball team, I had Scooter and Dick Buckus, his son, Ricky Buckus. And a lot of other great guys that are still friends with me today. But we were really trying to get, and he has a band that's actually really good.
Doug Flutie?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you need to Google his band. He sings, and he's like the drummer and the singer. What's his name? Phil Collins.
Okay.
So
and he's from everything I understand, he's a downright good human being.
Well, he did a lot for autism, which makes him, in our family, that makes him very special.
Right.
So because of Flutie Flakes and a lot of stuff, and him and Dan Marino kind of get a little special get in our family.
Good to know.
All right. The next one is what I don't want you to get tonight. All right? I don't want you to get tongue-tied.
You know me too well.
I don't want you to get tongue-tied. Sometimes we all get tongue-tied. Blake, you ever been tongue-tied, sir?
A lot of times.
It happens a lot.
Right.
Yeah, it has.
Happens a lot in our family. All right? So I wanted to find out what tongue-tied means. It's just like, you don't know what to say. You kind of panic, right?
I have one for you. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. But this goes all the way back to the 1500s.
Really?
And it was a medical condition where, like, when you got lockjaw, which I guess, comes from what...
Locust Valley.
Yeah. What was it? Blood...
it was... lockjaw was from tetanus.
Tetanus. Yeah. Like tetanus or,
hoof and
blood
mouth.
poison. Yeah, hoof and mouth. And it would freeze up your tongue. And that's when it was actually considered one word tongue tie. It sounds like Japanese almost, but it later became I can't get my words out, or I just I'm stumped.
Right.
But it was a true medical condition in the 1500s. So that one was my favorite one I found today.
Well, I've got one for you.
Okay.
Have you ever seen somebody sitting at a bar, and it's usually adept women?
No, I've never seen that.
You've never seen anybody sitting at a bar? Yeah. Take the cherry stem and eat the cherry, and then take the cherry stem out, and they tongue-tied it into a knot?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's talent that I cannot do.
I hate to say it.
Carry on. No, go ahead.
All right. I used to be able to do that when I had my real teeth.
Okay.
It's a little more challenging because you can't feel it with your bridge.
Right.
But I can still sometimes get it in the right position.
Nice.
But I used to be able to do it when I had my real teeth.
And I think that's a talent.
Yeah.
I think that's a talent.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's a tying tongue.
yes.
Not tongue
Right,
tying.
right. Well, in the past tense, it was tongue tied by right. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Carry on. See, now you got me. All right, so we're going into alien territory in a little while.
Okay.
So my second word origin is once in a blue moon. Because the moon is celestial and it's actually extraterrestrial, and apparently it's made out of blue cheese or green cheese, but that's aside from the point. And
Well, a blue moon is 2 full moons
in the same month. Absolutely,
Okay,
and
yeah.
that's it. So the expression "once in a blue moon" is basically it's something that's rare, or it's not a common occurrence. And the mathematical explanation is about 1 out of every 32 months there's a blue moon.
Okay.
So it's not as rare as you would think. Though I think recently there's been a couple in the last couple of years. There's been a lot of them.
Seems like there's one like every 8 months. Or
Yeah,
something.
and they're saying it's 1 out of every 32 months.
Okay.
And there also happens to be a supermoon. I don't know if the second one will be in August, but the full moon that we just had, and it's still pretty large tonight, is a supermoon because in the elliptical orbit, which is not a great circle, it gets closer and further away, and when the orbit brings it closer to the Earth, it appears much, much larger than when it's further away on some of the months. So they call it a supermoon. And this happens to be, and they name the moons. So the August moon is the sturgeon moon. Sturgeon, as in the big fish.
Okay.
But it could also be the grain moon, the corn moon, the lynx moon, and the one that I don't quite understand, the lightning moon. But maybe in August you got thunderstorms. So so that's it. And interestingly
And
enough,
in the 70s, if you're a moon, it was completely different.
yeah, it's true.
So,
And you could be moon unit and Zappa.
oh, yeah.
See, and and they get off really easy because the second moon of the month is just the blue moon. It doesn't get a fancy name.
Yeah, it's just blue.
Yep, Indians didn't do anything for that. So there we go.
All right. So we're talking about aliens.
Yes, we are.
And you said you went in a different direction. I don't know exactly which direction you went in.
I went west.
But you may west over there.
No.
Go west, young man.
Right, exactly.
All right. So we're gonna actually be and you seg that way.
Okay.
All right. And I was interested to find out movies with aliens involved in them, and I wanted to find out what everyone out there, and hopefully you guys are listening, your favorite movie with aliens. There's so many to choose from.
There are.
I mean, there's just a ton to choose from. The very first alien movie was a German movie, and that movie was Tragedy of Power by Algol. 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 Silent movie. German silent movie. It was the very first movie that involved aliens in 1920.
Okay.
All right? The Russians came out with an aliens movie in 24, and that was Alita, Queen of Mars.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
But so what's your favorite alien movie, a movie that involves aliens?
I was looking over them.
Throw in Star Wars. I mean, that counts.
No,
aliens.
that's, I think, the Men in Black are very much fun.
Yeah.
I like that, and they said some really creative aliens in that, and, being from New York, when they start lifting off from the New York State Pavilion in the 64, 63, 64 World's Fair,
yeah.
That was kind of fun. So Men in Black, and I thought that later. Starman with the ever-amazing Jeff Bridges when he was not an old man, but a younger man who was an alien who needed to have Karen Allen give him a ride to Arizona to get his flight back home.
Yeah.
That was interesting, and then it became a love story. Earth Girls Are Easy with Jenna Davis,
Okay.
and that was an interesting one. That was actually pretty funny. That was just a goofy movie.
Yeah.
And then a real bizarre one, and if you haven't seen this, it's just wacky. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
I think I've seen it.
That's a goofy-ass movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I've seen it. Blake, what is yours before I start giving out mine? And I have about 3 or 4 myself.
The 2 that I have off the top of my head is Leo and Stitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just covered. Rebecca said you better mention it, so you just covered one of my bases right there.
He can go home.
Good job. You get to eat tonight.
Thank you. And
Smart man.
would you is HAL 9000 considered an alien?
in 2001?
Yeah, in 2001 Space Odyssey.
It was man-made, so I don't think
he's
so.
more of a robot.
Alright.
Yeah,
All right, then I'll
it's a
say.
computer. Yeah,
Then I'll probably say Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks. Very.
yeah.
Well, you have the defense at your house. Mars Attacks. You know what they use for defense in Mars Attacks?
I don't remember.
Head and Shoulders.
Okay.
You remember that, Blake?
Yeah, I do.
All right. And that has like so many stars in that movie too. Mars Attacks.
Yep.
All right. The one that really stood out to me, and it's just because of my age, I think, was E.T.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed E.T.
Yeah.
It was so well done and stuff like that. But the other one was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Now we're talking.
Okay.
Yes.
And I've told this story before, I think on the morning show and maybe maybe even at trivia, because I repeat myself quite a bit when I lock into certain stories. At the same time, Spielberg was doing Close Encounters of the Third Kind. There was this guy George Lucas.
Yeah, I heard of him.
He had a movie called Star Wars. These two were just chilling because they were friends, and they're still friends. But they were just chilling one day, and Lucas was complaining he was over budget. He was nervous. No one was going to like his movie. He got really scared about it. And Spielberg says to him, I tell you what, I'll give you 4% of my movie, and you give me 4% of your movie. All right? So that way one of us are going to make a little bit of money, and we're going to be covered. Spielberg came up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out really well. Now, both movies did
Close
great.
Encounters was not a bomb by any stretch of
No.
imagination.
It was nominated for Academy Awards. I mean, Dreyfuss was in it. It was a great movie. It was a phenomenal movie. Probably better done than Star Wars. Star Wars was just state of the art with some of the science.
Right.
But if you watch it now, it's like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But it was still a great story. But Spielberg still gets royalties
From
Star Wars, and he had nothing to do with it. When's the last time you've even heard of Close Encounters of the Third Kind? You don't see it. You don't see it out there.
But you can hear the boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Yeah, you did the hand motions, and you had to build the volcano.
Right. It was Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
Out of mashed potatoes.
Out of mashed potatoes. That's it.
That was wacky.
So
that was a fun movie too.
So that one was the question I wanted to find out, like what movies people wanted to throw out there. The Blob, great one. Bob.
Okay.
Steve McQueen.
Keep your fire extinguishers handy.
Yep. So, but the other thing is, before we get into some other alien stuff, the radio show that involved aliens that's freaked out the entire world.
War of the Worlds.
All right, the War of the Worlds. H.G. Wells
right.
wrote it in like the 1890s, 1895 or 96 or something like that. But Orson Welles put it on a radio
Genius.
show.
Mm-hmm.
It was only 1 hour long. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was only 1 hour long, and you know what day it played?
Halloween.
It was on Halloween.
I do.
In 1938. And Blake, do you know the story of the panic of War of the Worlds?
No, I haven't heard that before.
All right, so in 1938, he was on CBS radio. Everybody's listening to the radio before television, and Orson Welles, he had that little movie that was pretty good.
Yeah, something about a sled, I think.
Yeah, Rosebud or something. One Citizen King. Did you ever watch that, Blake?
We did in a movie history class.
Okay,
all right.
Good.
So
you did watch.
Good for the
it.
professor. Excellent.
Yeah, good. You did watch it. So the same guy who wrote, produced, and starred in Citizen Kane did the War of the Worlds. He didn't think anything of it.
No.
He didn't realize what happened. But people were so not in touch with everything else. They thought the world was actually being attacked by aliens.
Yeah.
And people were panicking. And they were in the streets, and they were like getting guns and everything, and they were panicking. And
it's funny because it was just in New Jersey. I mean, it took place in New Jersey. It was either Downers Corner or Grover's Corner.
yeah, Grover's Corner.
Yeah. In Jersey. So, well, it's just New Jersey. It's not it's not hard to expect things like that in Jersey.
It's easy to fold in.
Yeah.
So, but that was some of the entertainment side and the fictional side of Aliens. So, what are some of the things that you wanted to talk about? Because you said you went in a different direction.
Yeah, I went to Area 51.
Okay.
I went to Area 51, and then I, brought in a couple of brilliant people like Enrico Fermi and Nikolai Tesla. So we can get them in a little while. But Area 51, 83 miles from Las Vegas. It's called Dreamland. It's called Paradise Ranch. Groom Lake is actually the physical definition of where it is, and it's. It was the CIA and the Air Force never said it was a secret base, but everything that they were doing there was top secret. And they started doing the testing for the U-2 there in 50s, and that's where apparently the Roswell stuff went when a spaceship with an alien in it allegedly crashed in Roswell. That's where they dragged it off to, and Area 51 may have come from the fact that
I saw him in Independence Day.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah, and you know what? Good for Will Smith. Punched him right in his noggin.
Yeah,
knocked him right out. Area 51, the name, because there was no reason to name it that, they think it came from the fact that the Atomic Energy Commission had grid areas around there, and the Atomic Energy Commission grid next door to that was Area 15, or grid number 15. So that's where they think Area 51 may have come from. But it's a fascinating place. You can't get in there. There used to be the stories about the guys that would ride around in the white pickup trucks. And if you get anywhere close to one of the fences, these white pickup trucks would come leaping over the rise and come up to you. And now they're driving big nasty Suburbans, and now they're all in camo, and it's a private contractor out there. So it's whether it's a Blackwater type security firm or who knows what. But these are the guys that patrol the place, and they are serious. Big men. With armed weapons, and all the signs say deadly force is authorized.
Where was the group that was going to try and invade Area 51? What was the name of that group?
Okay. It was in September 2019. I'm glad you asked this. They wanted to raid Area 51. Okay. And the premise was they can't catch us all. Well, this started out as a Facebook group, and it was 2019, so it was probably before. Well, maybe Instagram was kicking around, but on Facebook they had 2 million people that said, "Oh, we're coming, we're going," and they had another 1.5 million that said, "Oh, we're very interested in it." Now, how many people showed up?
0.
150.
150
people showed up. Yeah, okay. 150 people showed up.
And at that point, they can kill you all.
Yeah, right, exactly. They didn't get onto the grounds and never panned out.
Did they actually try to invade?
I think discretion being the better part of getting shot at. Probably, I'm sure it's. And it's Blake. You're gonna have to help me out on this. Nuru running or something like that. There's some anime character who runs very fast, lean forward with his arms out in back of him.
Naruto?
Yeah. And that was it. They were all going to Naruto run into this place.
Yeah,
that was going to keep them safe. So that was their gig. That was their gig, exactly.
It was probably guys that looked like Captain Sweatpants from Big Bang Theory.
Exactly. But I took my wife up there. We didn't get all the way up there. We got as far as Rachel, Nevada, and as you leave Vegas and you're going north, you go past Nellis, and this is part of Nellis Air Force Base, or under its auspices. And as you're going out of town, like I said, it's about 83 miles from Vegas. You get on what is known as the extraterrestrial highway, and as you get onto this road, there's a sign there that a road sign. Extraterrestrial highway that way, and we go, and you go, and it was a beautiful ride because you're in the desert. I guess we were there in February
with
because
a horse with no name.
Well, you can come in from the rain.
All right. So got a video of the guy doing the Naruto run. If you want to see what
let's check it out.
What Lenny's talking about. Hold on.
That's funny. Lenny had to put his glasses on. I had to take mine off. So
there you go. There
he goes. Right. Showing how to do the attack on Area 51.
Yeah.
So there's a town on the extraterrestrial highway on your way up to Groom Lake. It's still about 20 miles, 30 miles from Groom Lake, and it's called Rachel, Nevada. 56 people live there. And Julie and I went up there on a day trip from Vegas, and I had a great tuna fish sandwich at the Little Ellie Inn.
The Ellie Inn.
Little Ellie Inn.
Okay.
A apostrophe L-L-I-N-N. The little alien.
We might have to do a day trip and rent a car.
It's great.
Like
It's a
next
beautiful
time.
drive. It's a beautiful drive. And then you keep going. You hit Groom Lake. You hit the chain link fence, and they say, "Go away, or we'll shoot you."
Yeah. I think Rebecca would be down for that.
But Rachel, Nevada throws in. You got Woodstock. You got all these other stocks. They throw an alien stock.
Okay.
Well, 150 people showed up to raid Area 51. They get 1,500 people coming to alien stock. There ain't nothing in Rachel, Nevada, except a little alien and a couple of trailers and maybe a 4-room motel.
I'm assuming they all camped in campers.
Well, when they were doing this thing, every room was sold out. I mean, the place
were they
gets booked.
staying in Vegas and drove over?
It would make sense to me.
Okay. Well,
Makes sense to me.
completely makes sense.
So,
All right. So I did a couple other things, but as far as Area 51,
Mm-hmm.
you have any more on Area 51 at all? Because I kind of figured one of you two would go to the Area 51 because it's like
yeah, no, I've got some other things, and which is even more contemporaneous with now the congressional hearings, and I've got a timeline of previous experiments or investigations into extraterrestrial phenomenon.
yeah.
So, I mean, they started with the first one was Project Sign, which was in 1947, 1948, and these are all under the auspices of the Air Force. And then, and it's funny because you always hear about Vandenberg Air Force Base out on the East Coast. Well, there's actually a General Hoyt Vandenberg, and apparently he was a curmudgeon because he said, there's no proof of nothing, I'm shutting it down. So he shut down Project Sign, which was immediately replaced by Project Grudge in 1948, 1949,
Okay.
which was subsequently replaced by the one that most people are familiar with, Project Blue Book. And Blue Book ran from 52 into 69 or 70.
Not to be confused with Blue Moon.
Yeah, or other blue things, but yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Got it. Blue Pill.
That's better.
Okay.
Still. So all these things were there.
Picking up.
Yeah. And then
You're doing great.
you're a little hard on me, could you cut it out, Troy? Seriously. But it's still, and today, these
At least 4 hours, I'll lighten up.
unexplained area, now that's an unexplained aerial phenomenon, which used to be an unidentified flying object, these saucer-like discs and things. And nobody came up with any proof. And General Vandenberg said, there's no proof of this stuff. I'm shutting this stuff down. Well, it got resurrected and re-resurrected and re-resurrected. And still, until, you have the guy last week going, well, people have told me. I haven't seen it, but people have told me on
I've
good
heard.
authority, right? Exactly, and I
I've
believe
heard from
them.
a friend.
Yeah, and this is what this guy's putting in front of Congress. I can't really tell you, but you got to believe me on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, but here's the hard question of the day. Do you believe there's alien life form?
Okay, so that's going to bring me into Enrico Fermi, a brilliant physicist, and he created the Fermi paradox because he was working with, I guess it was Edward Teller, I think is who it was, and a couple other guys, and they were having lunch, and as they're walking away, Fermi goes, well, where are they? And he expanded this into the Fermi paradox. So the galaxy is huge. It would be silly for us to think that we're the only ones here, but if there are other civilizations, why haven't we seen them? Why do we have no evidence of it? And he expanded on a couple of things, and it was like, it was basically, where are they and where is everybody? And that was the question at lunch. And, the guys that he was sitting with knew exactly what he was talking about. He didn't even say, extraterrestrials. He just said, where are they? And he said the size and the age of the universe, and that there should be many technologically advanced civilizations. And if that's the case, they must exist. And it's logically inconsistent with the evidence that we haven't seen anybody. So maybe they don't. So he's going back and forth, and he creates this, Schrodinger's, if is the cat alive, is the cat dead? If they're there, how come we haven't seen them? And if we haven't seen them, and he goes on to say that maybe the initial assumption is incorrect, and that these civilizations are just much more rare than we think. Or our current observations are wrong or incomplete, and we just haven't found them yet. Or we're searching in the wrong place. Or he finally, and this is the one that frightens me, or it's the nature of intelligent life to destroy itself. and that was the final part of his paradox.
Okay.
And that got a little frightening.
Yeah.
So that's that. But then you got another genius floating around, and
We're going to hold that because we got to go to our sponsor.
Excellent. Go ahead.
You're doing Tesla after this, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to our sponsors. Again, our sponsors, Coquina Coast Realty. We do commercial. We do, when I say we, it's me. Commercial, residential, rental properties. We can do about anything in that game, and also with my Walking Man Consulting, I can kind of guide you through the process if you're wanting to go into commercial with some of the money that you want to possibly invest. You're tired of the stock market. Real estate's, to me, always the safest way to go.
Not making more of it.
Abare, Kresge and Associates. These guys are my accountants. They keep Coquina Coast Realty separated from Coquina Coast Realty, from Shaving a Haircut, from all my other LLCs. These guys do an amazing job of just showing you how to get through your tax. They will save you money. Give them a call, Abare, Kresge and Associates. Our newest sponsor. So happy to have these guys. The Shelter family just do an amazing job downtown. They have their little area there with Prohibition Kitchen. But what we're talking about is the Roosevelt Room. If you have not eaten here, you need to get down to the Roosevelt Room. You talked about vegetarian. They have a menu.
River Fort, yeah.
A menu at Roosevelt Room that I think your wife will really, really enjoy.
Nice.
And they're not just breakfast and lunch. They have an event space where you can host fundraisers. You can do political events. They hold about 70 people in there. They have a beautiful loft if you want to do a private meeting.
I saw that
up top. It's just a beautiful space. They did an amazing job with their, and it sits where the old Opera House used to be.
Right. And all the tourists on St. George Street will be very envious looking in the window at you having a grand old time at your private function. Yeah, you just kind of hold up your meal right in front. Just grab it. All right, River and Fort. This is where you get to go to the rooftop and look down on the people. What a view.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And Blake, I can't remember. Where is it? It's located near two things.
I believe it's located near the river.
Okay.
And the fort.
Oh, I know where that is. I know where that is.
Clears that up. So folks, you can find it easily.
Yeah. If you can find the fort, you can find River and Fort right across the street. All right. Also, across the street from the fort, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. I'm glad you got a chance to go in there.
It was wonderful. I recommend it. Little kids were fascinated by everything there, and there's a scavenger hunt for little kids, so they were entertained, and the adults were just digging it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just, just a wonderful space. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad the Kresge family decided to move this museum from Key West to here.
Yeah.
It's been a great addition to the tourism, and they're so active in the community. It's just, you got to love Cindy and the whole crew over there. They do a great job. Also, a staff that I can't speak more kindly about. One of your hangouts, my hangouts, 3 bars in one, Meehan's Irish Pub. Great food, I can tell you. A lot of people are like, I don't eat bar food. Let me tell you this. This is bar food. This is quality. This is quality food.
Yeah, Chef Chris does a nice job.
Excellent.
And having been in the restaurant business my entire professional career, one of the ways I really judge a restaurant is by their staff. And by that I mean the staff at Meehan's has been there. They have very little turnover. There's some people, graduating college or working there through certain things. But for the most part, their staff has been there for quite some time.
And they got each other's back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They got each other's back. They're a full team there, and that's something you have to look at ownership and management of how they handle things. Meehan's Irish Pub, if you have not eaten there, if you have not had a drink there, you need to belly up to the bar and just enjoy the food and the spirits. And on a side note, when I was doing my ghost tours, I was there with a woman who said, "Who's in that picture?" And there's a picture of John Meehan on the stairs going up to the oyster bar. I said, "Oh, that's John. He was the man who owned the place. He died in 2015. She said, "Oh, that's nice. He's sitting right over there." And I go, "Excuse me?" And this woman saw John sitting on the banquette at the top of the stairs in the oyster bar. Okay. There you go. Apparently her nieces, when I confronted her nieces and said, "Did you not tell me something about your aunt?"
She said, what did she do? I said, apparently she sees dead people. And they said, yeah, she does. What did she do now? And she saw John sitting there enjoying life, watching things go by, minding his store.
There you go, John.
So good for
dude.
him. Yep.
Good dude.
Good man.
All right.
From everything I've been told.
Yes. All right. Citygate Spirits. Talking about spirits. Citygate Spirits and St. Augustine Distillery. Citygate Spirits. They have a great tasting tour. St. Augustine Distillery won best tasting tour in the entire U.S. Their bourbons are excellent. Bourbons finished in the port is one of my favorite bourbons out there. They have wonderful vodkas, other liquors out there. I'm not really a white liquor guy.
Yeah.
But I understand that they are award winning, just like their bourbons.
If I'm not mistaken, and I think I'm correct in the fact that they use Florida cane sugar for their sweetener, which makes it distinct from others. So.
Yeah. All right. So we're still talking about aliens.
Yes, we are.
All right. What do you have next on your agenda that you wanted to bring
Well,
up?
it's interesting because, Nikola Tesla, and we just got back from Croatia, and he was apparently born in Croatia, though he grew up in Serbia. And the Croatians are very, very nationalistic in the fact that they are taking credit for anything they can. And there are some interesting people that have come out of Croatia. And it's a very proud country and a very proud people. So they have embraced Nikola Tesla. Now, on the other hand, there's a lot of people that think Nikola Tesla may be an alien because this guy was so out there and so brilliant and so twisted in other ways. And the man, if you don't know anything about him, get a biography or look him up. The guy was brilliant.
Brilliant.
But Nikola Tesla is doing his wireless electric transmission on Pikes Peak in Colorado.
Best donuts in the world at the top of Pikes Peak.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have, I don't know if it's because of the altitude or what, but they have a little donut shop at the very top of Pikes Peak that's just
good to know.
It's a very standard cake donut.
Right.
You take the little tram up. Colorado Springs. My aunt lives in Colorado Springs. Take the little tram up, and at the very top, there's a donut shop at the top. And I'm telling you, it's just as simple can be. Best donuts I've ever had.
Going on the list?
And I love donuts.
It's going on the list. Excellent. He's doing research up there. He's working on wireless transmission of electricity, which he was successful at. And he's getting signals that he said weren't solar and they weren't electrical disturbances. And he was firmly convinced he was hearing voices from Mars. Now, Nikola Tesla also fell in love with a pigeon. So you need to take that with a grain of salt. But the man was by far one of the more brilliant people ever to walk this planet.
Did you see that pigeon's feathers?
No, were they pretty?
It was very, very impressive pigeon.
Very nice.
Very
Good.
impressive pigeon. But Tesla was brilliant.
Yes.
And he did it to be brilliant, not for any other thing. Him and Edison had a falling out.
Boy, did they cheat him.
Yeah, and Edison pretty much lost out when it came to the power in the AC/DC situation. Because Tesla was 100% right.
Yeah.
Edison, you just couldn't. You can do one building, but you couldn't do an entire city. And Tesla is the reason we have the energy where we don't have a power plant on every block.
The guy was just phenomenal.
Because if we'd have went with the Edison, we would have had to have a power plant pretty much on every block.
And for those of you in St. Augustine, if you are on
Valencia.
Thank you very much. The art building that's there now was the generating plant for the thing. That's where the turbines were.
Yeah,
And
that's the smoke.
The smokestack is
smokestack's
right.
there.
Beautiful smokestack, by the way.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yep.
All right. So I kind of, and by the way, I did grab and I meant to send it to Blake to try and put it up there, but from Roswell Daily Record, the day that all that stuff really happened. I don't know if you saw this, but it says RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. It was in the daily paper with a lot of people quoted of what they saw that day.
Yeah.
So
It was big doings.
Yeah. All right. I decided I wanted to see abductions because you hear about alien abductions. All right. You hear about probing and alien abductions. So I wanted to find out what was the most legitimate abduction story that I could find. All right. Did you find any good abduction stories?
No.
All right.
No,
So-
and why do they always pick people off of a farm somewhere in the middle of nowhere? Nobody gets abducted out of New York City. Am I wrong? Excellent.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
You're not wrong. This is not New York City.
Right.
It's New Hampshire.
Okay. That's
All right.
bucolic.
So, Barney and Betty Hill, they were abducted. They were an American couple claimed to be abducted by extraterrestrials in a rural portion of New Hampshire from September 19th to September 20th, 1961. It was widely publicized and reported of the alien abduction. All right? And this couple could not look more normal. They are a mixed race couple in 1961.
Good for them.
All right. So they seem to be a very progressive, and I'm going to let you look at a picture of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they look like liars.
No, she's holding a very lovely dog.
Yeah. Well, she's holding a wiener dog. You know, I don't know.
That's a big ass dachshund then.
That's a big dachshund.
That's a big ass dachshund.
So, but they're, Blake, if you can find a picture of Betty and Barney, it's funny that that's her name.
Well, that's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah, the Flintstones.
Right.
So Betty and Barney Hill, 1961, and
So what's their story?
They passed lie detector tests, both of them,
Okay.
and they said they were taken up to the ship and interrogated, and then returned the next day. They were there for an entire day,
Okay, question.
but they weren't sure about the timeline on where they were at compared to the timeline of here.
Okay.
Oh, there they are. Look
Excellent.
at them. Look
Let
at
me
them.
see. And the big ass wiener dog.
Yeah.
Okay, but my question to you is this. They get taken up into this alien spaceship. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever sees the spaceships when people are abducted.
Yeah.
How come?
I don't know.
Cloaking devices?
I don't know.
Damn Klingons?
Maybe they're just teleported.
Okay. Well, usually
How cool would it be to be teleported? Me and Rebecca were talking about this the other day. It would be really cool.
until they mix your atoms and you come back as
you
half
come
of
back-
each of you.
Well, you come back as like a Twix bar or something. You know.
All right.
But I mean that couple. I don't think you could find a more honest looking couple.
So what was their story?
Well, they
I mean,
said they
that was it.
investigated and like no one believed them, of course.
Right.
Everyone thought they were a little crazy. They're from New Hampshire, but I mean, New Hampshire.
Do they have any memories of what happened to them when they were on the ship?
No,
or
they
any?
gave a full description
Okay.
of what it looked like, and they matched up. And both of them passed the lie detector test.
Okay.
Those things aren't easy to
No.
trick.
No. Especially for somebody who doesn't have training.
I think looking at this picture, I think the dog's actually the alien. I think he's a spy.
There you go. He was there. He was
like
a
in Men
plant.
in Black.
He was yeah. Frank.
Yeah. So, all right. What else you got?
Well, we come up to like last week when, you've got a whistleblower who is now, and this is the guy that we alluded to earlier, David Grusch, Grusch, testified before Congress as a whistleblower, and he is absolutely certain the feds have an unidentified aerial phenomenon, and they have. He didn't call it an extraterrestrial. It's interesting phraseology in the fact that it's
Call it a UAP.
UAP is not. Yeah, UAP has replaced UFO.
Yeah.
But he was calling it. They have non-human biological matter. That they have found non-human biological matter.
Okay. So the DNA doesn't match anything else on Earth.
Well, I think that's sort of a broad thing. Non-human biological matter could be a sponge in the ocean.
Yeah, it could be the blob.
Right. So
Let's not downplay this. Could be the blob.
So Congress is going, who's doing all this and how are they getting all this stuff? And he's going, well, misappropriation of funds. And Congress is going, what are you talking about? Congress doesn't know anything about this. He says, you're right. It doesn't. The money's supposed to go someplace else, and they're siphoning off a little bit from here and a little bit from here to run their projects. And he says, without attribution to name names, that there is physical evidence, there is this biological matter that's floating around someplace, and he is going there. I have it on good authority from people who have seen it. I haven't seen it, but they have, and I believe them. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know.
So do you think he's lying?
You know, if he is,
Why would you put yourself that far out there? And your career was in such...
15 minutes of fame? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think he truly believes that.
So it was really kind of interesting what was going on there. And, you know, he testified before Congress, and Congress wasn't, you know, they weren't buying into it completely, but it all comes back to the fact that these things are a threat to our national security, you know, and they discount it being the Russians. Nobody ever says it's not the Chinese. They always say it's not the Russians. I don't know why they say it's not the Chinese, but,
The Chinese are the
could be
ones
anybody
that
else.
had the balloon float.
Right, exactly, exactly. Which was much ado about nothing, apparently.
We
nothing
don't
to see here.
want to tip them off that we think it's them.
Right.
So I mean, that's why we say it's not the Russians.
Because we're so good with
we're really good at keeping secrets.
with our subtlety game, right? With our don't look over here. Yeah.
All right.
So
I have a contest between you and Blake.
Oh, excellent!
All right.
Oh, I always lose to Blake. He's so good.
I have the top 10 U.S. cities with the most UFO sightings per 100,000 people.
Oh, I get to go first. Phoenix.
Okay. Phoenix is not on the list.
No?
No. It is not.
There's stuff happening in Arizona all the time. Wow.
Not necessarily Phoenix.
Oh, well, fine. Scottsdale?
Well, you can't.
Hey.
But Scottsdale and Phoenix are the same place.
You already wasted. No, but it's still.
You wasted two of them right now.
Wasted two of your guesses.
I always lose to you, so I'm making it easier for you. Go ahead.
You got two guesses.
I'm going to say Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is number 6.
Interesting. Yeah.
Blake, you got another guess because he
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Los Angeles.
not on the list.
All right. Someplace in Colorado. Let's go Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs is number 5.
Okay, I'm making a comeback, Blake. You're in trouble now, buddy.
All right. Houston.
Houston is not on the list. I'll tell you this, there's nothing, and I'll give you guys this hint. There's nothing on the East Coast
Right.
Oh.
Right.
in this list.
How about Boise? Somewhere in Idaho.
Boise is number 4. Like he's up 2-1 on you. Here we go.
I'm going to say Spokane.
Spokane is number 1. Don't you be cheating in there.
Oh, now I understand. It all comes clear to me now.
Blake just found the list.
I gotcha. I told you he was a smart man. He's a smart man.
All right, Spokane is number 1 on the list. They do 51.73 sightings per 100,000 people. All right, so that's number 1. All right, you each get one more guess. Did you actually find the list, Blake?
No, I haven't.
Okay, all right. So go ahead. You each have one more. The tiebreaker is 2-2 right now. It could end in a tie.
See. Reno.
Reno is not on the list.
All right. I'm going to go with one more Arizona city because it seems like Lenny really loves Arizona. I'm going to go with Tucson.
Tucson is number 2 on the list.
There you go.
He's got that list.
See, right? I knew that. I knew there was Arizona.
Here, I'm marking out Blake. That's a fault. He's holding it up. He's holding it up for us right there.
Run
All
it.
right.
Good.
So,
run it down.
Real quick rundown, and then we've got time for one possible more story because I do have a story about Phoenix.
There's lots of stuff happened there.
Yeah, and I do have a story about Phoenix, by the way.
You hate it.
It was horrible. I went there for a week.
It's warm.
So Spokane, Washington, 51.73 sightings per 100,000 people. Tucson, Arizona. Should have taken a left at
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. All right, somebody hit Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
Boise was number 4. Colorado Springs was number 5. Blake, Las Vegas, number 6. Jackson, Missouri. 28.27 per 100,000 people. Wichita, Kansas. Okay. All right. Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. That rounds out the top 10.
It's interesting because you said there was nothing on the East Coast, yet there's a series of strange light phenomenon sightings in North Carolina that go back pre-Civil War. that there would be, lights there that are still happening today that people see. And, this guy conflated with the fact that people thought it was the ghosts of Civil War dead, but it happened pre-Civil War and post-Civil War, somewhere in western North Carolina. So I was surprised there was nothing on the East Coast.
Yeah, nothing on the East Coast. All right.
What do you got?
One president has turned in a UFO reporting.
Oh, yeah.
I had this conversation with you before, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Blake, do you remember who that president was? Close to the mic.
I'm going to say Abraham Lincoln.
No, Abraham Lincoln did not, but he was the only president that had a patent. The only president that reported a UFO sighting is the oldest living president, and him and his wife have been together for like almost 80 years. And that's Jimmy Carter.
Yep. And you have to take him pretty seriously. The guy's a nuclear engineer.
He was a graduate of the Naval
Annapolis,
Academy.
Yep.
And I mean, this guy was, he's a faith-based guy.
Yeah.
Which kind of throws out a little bit of the UFO stuff. Because I think a lot of faith-based people aren't really too much on the science side. I mean, that's my... And I hopefully I didn't insult anybody with that statement, but it was a
good, because I usually do. So go ahead.
General blanket over it. But he's an IQ. His IQ is one of the top 5 of the 46 presidents we've had.
In Jimmy Carter, you have to respect the man's faith. He teaches Sunday school. I had friends who made a pilgrimage to see him teach Sunday school down in Georgia. But the man is absolutely true to his faith. But he's also an exceedingly educated individual. So they're not mutually exclusive in any way, shape, or form. And that's part of the problem today is people seem to separate intelligence and faith, and it doesn't have to be that way. And Jimmy Carter is a shining example of how those two can marry wonderfully.
Yeah. No, I can tell you. I mean, he's a brilliant man, and he's a quality human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Habitat for Humanity. I mean, he's one of the few
made it what it
presidents
was.
that's won the Nobel Peace Prize. So it's
and he's downright adorable.
Yeah, you can't not love Jimmy.
Right,
Carter. People in 1979 and 1980 didn't love Jimmy Carter.
Well, he wasn't an overly successful president,
but
he's a delightful person.
I think if hopefully the Democrats and Republicans, because I might make both mad at me, I think he blossomed after his presidency.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If he had been president 15 years later, I think he'd have been much more successful. Yeah. Even though his peace talks that he had were so overshadowed because of the economy of us coming out of the Vietnam conflict, which always puts a strain on the economy. So, but his peace talks with Saul 1, Saul 2 were amazing. He probably could have won. He could have been the president and could have won the Nobel Peace Prize twice.
And and we could use him now because the Carter Initiative went to oversee elections in other countries.
I think in '99 his memory is better than our president right now.
Could be.
So,
but I don't know. Joe just has interesting recollections.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting is the way to put it. What did you say, Blake?
I think we have to negate this conversation with mentioning Threads now to get on Facebook's positive side.
We got to talk about how great Threads is, because that helps our algorithm.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's the new format.
And instead of the birdie's gone and now it's X.
Now it's X.
That's just silliness.
The battle between the two of them continues. Hey, who wins that boxing match?
I was just going to ask you. Is that really going to happen?
I don't know.
Because Italy offered the Colosseum for the celebrity death match between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg.
I can tell you this: I probably would go to Rome for that.
I'm taking Jake Paul in 3 rounds.
Jake Paul, I'm pretty sure, can kick both their asses with one hand.
The 2 against 1, he can beat them both.
2 against 1 with boom, boom.
Man.
But I don't know. Zuckerberg's he's pretty tough.
He's lean. He's
pretty tough.
Both
of them are brilliant.
I got to think Elon's got a glass jaw.
Yeah.
I got to think he's got a glass jaw.
I'm pretty sure neither one of them's ever smacked anybody in the face in a fight.
No.
So.
You ever see Elon Musk dance?
Okay. Let's end this.
Is it that
no. There's memes all over the place. He's and he mocks
himself. Is it worse than Trump's?
Yes.
It's similar, but yes.
Elon's worse than Trump's on the dance floor. You got to see me dance last night.
I was so impressed. I was so impressed.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You were sliding. You
I did the footloose.
You were going great.
So, guess what? That's the end of our show.
Bummer.
All right.
Bummer. See how good it is when we only do one topic? We can really just delve.
Just dive into it. And we didn't even get to talk about Phoenix and what all happened in Phoenix. There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff there. That's why I led with Phoenix. That's why I was very surprised.
See, I have it written right there. Yeah. We appreciate you guys. If you would hit that share button. Bollox Talks and Tangents. Hopefully it's the best laugh and learn show you'll see. We'll be right back next week. Bye-bye.